Do you find yourself discontent in your current circumstance? Stay tuned for a couple of my tricks of the trade on how to be content in any and all circumstances. I have a lot to be discontent about, so you should be scared. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel where I, Ardell, take you on a journey to capture the vision of my life in hopes to inspire you visionaries to do the same. And also don't forget to hit the little bell right there to be notified the moment I upload a new video every week. It's gonna happen. Time for the nitty gritty. If you're in a state of discontentment and can't level out into peace, then definitely stay with me for this entire video because I'm gonna be sharing with you my personal 4 tricks of the trade of how I keep content in my current situation, which, depending on how you look at it, it could be considered bleak. That's why we're all here, right? The definition of content: in a state of peaceful happiness. Who doesn't want to be there? Tip number 1 is to have gratitude. Gratitude is the new attitude. In all seriousness, being grateful for what you already do have is a perfect way to effortlessly and seamlessly and easily attract more good and happiness into your life. The more gratitude you have in your life, the happier people report to be. If you're just grateful for what you do have, it doesn't matter what other people have. For example, I have a cell phone. Most of us do. Right now I'm using it to film this video and I'm staring at a very cracked screen. I'm grateful that the phone didn't break, you know? So gratitude will definitely change your attitude to platitudes of happiness. One thing I do feel is important is also to remember that gratitude, no matter where you are in life, is something that we all should be practicing and something that we all should be inspiring to do. No matter how wealthy, powerful, beautiful, healthy that you may be, just being grateful for where you currently are is a great core strength to have. It's a great foundation. It is building your house on solid ground that when trials come, you won't get blown down. To share a little bit about my personal journey, and just to one last note that gratitude is a muscle. Is a muscle that can be flexed and should be worked on. So the more you focus on something, the more that's where your natural inclination is to head. When you focus on something and you work on something, that thing grows. So focusing on what to be grateful for and having an attitude of gratitude, it definitely builds a strength in that area, and it'll just by default make you more thankful, more happy, and more content. Some of you know that I recently had surgery on my foot, or I was going towards surgery. Well, I had it. Leading up into the surgery, I was catching myself wanting to be anxious and fearful, but instead I was just grateful that 1, I had an opportunity to get the surgery, that 2, the first surgery went as good as it did, even though it wasn't perfect and there wasn't full fusion, but that I had a doctor willing to give me a second surgery to get some hardware taken out, and he told me that the fusion was enough to live and be content with. So I opted for that surgery and it went so well, and I had no fear. I was just thankful and grateful for the staff, for the journey, for the lesson I can learn. And it definitely just I was like the creepiest, happiest patient in that hospital. Like people were coming up to me, you guys, like I was super popular. Truly though, I woke up, I had a big smile on my face and I looked creepily way too happy. No joke. I was just happy that when I woke up, my mom wasn't there because she was going to get me a Starbucks. You best believe it. The gratitude of my attitude and the attitude of my gratitude just definitely made me content throughout the whole process leading up into the surgery and post-surgery. So that is tip number 1. Tip and trick number 2 is turning your negative thoughts into positive thoughts. This is similar to having an attitude of gratitude. If you want to think about yourself negatively, think about others negatively, or think about a situation negatively, what can you turn it into a positive? And it might be cliche, but even if it is just a lesson learned. For example, with the injury in my foot, how could you even be grateful for a broken foot? But if you think of everything as a lesson that can be learned, which I guess maybe that's like a sub tip of turning negatives into positives. For me with my foot, it taught me a lot about patience, about grace with other people that have injuries. It made me more aware of people that are handicapped. And there's just been a lot of positivity that's come from it. It taught me, allowing people to take care of me, which was not something that I really kind of wanted to do. It taught me patience with people that are vulnerable, people that can't walk fast. And it also taught me to just live life at a more intentional pace and to be kind of slower with it. Another thing, a negative into a positive, I live in a tight quarter. It's another thing that I'm grateful for, that I have a home, I have a bed, I have a place to live, I have a lot of roommates, and I don't have a lot of space. But God, there's just so much to be thankful for there. I have a home, I have beds, and I'm warm and I'm comforted and I have food and everything to be grateful for. There's just so much that I could focus on to be negative, but it's really hard right now because once you start teaching those muscles how to function in full order, it's like a vicious vicious cycle. But it's been a great thing. I've just been grateful for where I'm at. Instead of looking at all the negative it is, I just treat it as an opportunity to grow. And I have been completely content in my physical situation, in my living situation, and being thankful that I had this car as my amazing studio. So definitely try to turn your negatives into a positive. That's number 2. Tip number 3 is super simple. It's quick and easy and painless. What are some simple things about your life and about yourself that you like? Super simple, right? For me, simple. I love my car, love my Toyota, and my whole life I've weirdly liked my hands. Last but not least of my 4 tips and tricks of the trade of how to be content in any and all situation is to just view yourself and others in the current sitch as a perfect version of themselves. Just like take a moment to be like, this is how it should be, because expectations not meeting reality breeds room for discontentment and frustration. But just as hard as it may be, just view everything as a perfect version as themselves. You release yourself from the pressure of trying to make things perfect, trying to make yourself perfect, trying to make somebody else, because there is no such thing as perfect. That might seem like a stalemate. I definitely think that people should grow, but the whole point is to just live in the moment of now as often as you can, to just be like, you know what, this is the perfect version of itself now. Because that is a room for growth, to release yourself from always having the pressure of trying to make things better and trying to put so much pressure on yourself to grow. I know that sounds kind of paradoxical and contradictory, and I think you're following me, because I definitely believe in self-growth and personal development. And if somebody's not great to you or nice to you, get out of those situations. Like if you're in a dangerous situation, don't be like, that's perfect, I'm going to stay. Within reason, just take a moment to look around in your life, in your personal life, in your environment, and just be like, you know what? This is the perfect current version of everybody in my life, including myself and my environment. So that is the last but not least tip for me for you. That is the conclusion of my video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that all of you gain some colors that you can use in your little palette in the art of contentment. Let me know what you feel that you gleaned from this video, what you liked about it, some ideas on ways of being content. Definitely leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with all your friends. Give it one big thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. I really love all my little visionaries. Let's start envisioning better lives for ourselves. One step at a time, one day at a time. Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day. Bye. Step by step, day by day.